Why is it that somebody like Taylor Swift can post one photo and the entire internet goes crazy? Every lyric she writes gets dissected, every outfit becomes a trend. Her fans don't just like her, they are obsessed with her. Now compare that to somebody like Sara Ali Khan. She's popular, yes, people watch her movies, sure, but does she command the same level of respect as Taylor? Do people hang on to every word she says like they do with Taylor? Not even close, right? So what is the difference? Why do some people like Taylor Swift inspire obsession while others, like Sara Ali Khan, who might also be famous, don't? You'll be surprised to know that it is not about looks or money or even talent. It is about understanding how attention works. In today's day and age, attention is currency, and the most magnetic people know how to use it to their advantage. That is why in today's video, I'm going to teach you 8 psychology-backed ways that celebrities like Taylor Swift, Shahrukh Khan, Pedro Pascal use every single day to command this level of attention. The idea here is not to manipulate people into liking you, but to understand the psychology of attention so that you can show up as your most magnetic and confident self and naturally command the respect you deserve. Starting with hack number 1, which is creating emotional intensity. The first thing you will notice with celebrities like Taylor Swift or Shahrukh Khan is that they don't lead with logic. They lead with emotion, because people don't become obsessed with logic, they become obsessed with emotion. When most people get the chance of sharing something about their life, they either shy away or say something awkward. They don't realize that sharing their own story is actually an opportunity to make people feel more connected to them. Here is how Taylor does it.
I get a call from my mom and she's like, you got your music. Yeah. And so sorry that it's literally been so long since this happened. It's every time I talk about it. She was like, you got your music. And I just very dramatically hit the floor, for real.
And it really is that simple. You can share a vulnerable moment about yourself and make people connect with you so much better. And you notice this vulnerability in everything that Taylor does. She doesn't just make songs, she gives people stories that make them feel. She uses her real life experiences to weave her pain and joy into her music. That is why one track can have her fans screaming with joy and the next one has them crying in their bedrooms at 2 a.m. And she creates this emotional intensity in everything that she does. The marketing for her albums, her entire Eras tour, every single interview she is on. Psychologists call this the emotional arousal effect. The stronger the emotional response you trigger in someone, the more memorable and magnetic you become to them. Our brains literally prioritize emotional experiences because they signal importance and connection. And the only way for you to do this is to become more vulnerable and authentic in your interactions. When you share something real and unpolished about yourself, people connect instantly. It is raw, it is human, and it makes it unforgettable. Authenticity is ultimately what creates emotional intensity. And it is the reason that somebody like Taylor Swift can turn her personal stories into moments that millions of people around the world feel deeply connected to. This brings me to hack number 2, owning your awkwardness. This is another trait that makes Taylor so endearing, and that is her ability to be awkward and to own that awkwardness completely. When most people get put in an embarrassing or awkward situation, they either react with silence, or they try to deny it, or they rebuff it. What they don't realize is that this is an opportunity to make people like you even more. Here is how Taylor does it.
I'm not asleep, my mind is alive.
Again, it's really that simple. You can turn embarrassing moments into charismatic moments just by laughing at yourself. Plus, if you laugh at yourself first, you save the people around you from feeling awkward by inviting them to laugh with you. You'll notice that even when Taylor Swift cannot think of anything to say in this instance, she laughs at herself. It prevents any awkward silence, it gets people in the audience laughing, and it also gets the interviewer to laugh. This is something known as the pratfall effect in psychology. When highly competent people who are known to be good at what they do, show a small flaw or make a harmless mistake in their personality, in their demeanor, it actually makes them more likable because they seem real and human instead of untouchable. This brings me to hack number 3, using the power of contradiction. Another hack I see a lot of magnetic people using is contradictions. On one end, they are polished and poised, and on the other, you see them being goofy and vulnerable. And it is often these moments when they're goofy or chaotic that end up getting the most attention. Ranveer Singh, I feel, is a great example of this. I have had friends in college who were obsessed with him to a level that they wore his t-shirts in college with his face on them. They watched every one of his movies multiple times and would have given anything for a real-life glimpse of Ranveer Singh. And I think I now understand why that was. On stage, he is pure chaos, right? Bright clothes, wild energy, dancing like nobody else is watching. That's the box we put him in, Ranveer the entertainer. But then he flips this in his movies. He becomes Baji Rao in Baji Rao Mastani, intense and regal. He becomes Khilji in Padmavat, where he's dark and ruthless and terrifying. He becomes Murad in Gali Boy, where he's raw and introverted and vulnerable. And we are left thinking, wait, what exactly happened? That shock is what psychologists call schema violation. Our brains want to put people into neat little boxes. She's funny, he's serious. But when somebody shows us opposing sides in their personality that don't fit into a box, we kind of get obsessed. We cannot stop paying attention, even if that attention is negative. And there are multiple ways to show this. Taylor Swift, for example, is a badass businesswoman, one of the few female billionaires in the world. But in her day-to-day life, she's feminine and girly and loves all things glitter and pink. You'd think that these two things don't go together, but when put together, they make people obsessed. And I feel a lot of people just fail to use this in real life. They want to present themselves in neat little boxes. They ideally want to subscribe to just one identity, and that is the inherent flaw. So don't be afraid to be ambitious but humble, be intellectual but goofy, be bold but vulnerable. Because the moment people become unable to fit you in boxes, you become unforgettable to them. You become like this mystery to be solved. This brings me to hack number 4. Use fake narcissism and hyperbole. Now, another easy way to get people addicted and hooked to you is to make them laugh, right? We already saw how Taylor does this when she laughs at herself, inviting other people to laugh with her. But another simple way that you can do this is exaggeration and fake narcissism. And I don't think anybody does it better than Shahrukh Khan.
शाहरुख खान किस चीज़ को देखकर करके बहुत मोटिवेट हो जाते हैं.
मैं जल्दी से अपना गाना सुनता हूँ. जो भी चाहूँ वो मैं पाऊँ.
In this instance, he could have just given a response like, hey, I'm reading this book, or remembering this thing that my mother taught me. But instead, he uses exaggeration and everybody in the room bursts out laughing. Similarly, in this clip, while he's talking about another life, this is what he says.
अगर तेरे को वक्त मिले, चांस मिले कि अगले जन्म में अगर हमारा हो जन्म अगला, तो तू क्या बनेगा? तो खुद ही बनेगा ना अपने आप.
कोशिश करूंगा कि मैं शाहरुख खान बनूं अगले दिन.
मैं भी कोशिश करूंगा मैं शाहरुख खान.
And once again, the audience bursts out laughing. Not because what he's saying is actually true, but because the exaggeration and his ego inflation is so over the top that it cannot be taken seriously. The psychology here is simple. Exaggeration is like a sense of surprise, and surprise is one of the fastest triggers for laughter. Combine that with laughing on yourself while pretending to brag, and you come across as confident and self-aware. Of course, it helps if you have already established yourself as a kind and sincere person, and we have enough instances of Shahrukh Khan having done that. So whenever he exaggerates his self-importance like this, it becomes a source of laughter rather than this source of him boosting his ego. So how do you apply this to your life? Next time somebody compliments you, instead of just saying thank you, try a playful exaggeration. If someone says, that was good, you can grin and reply, good, that was legendary. As long as it is delivered with humor and people know that you're exaggerating for laughs, people will laugh and they will remember you the next time something like this comes up. This brings me to hack number 5, making people feel special. Now, one of the biggest reasons that Taylor Swift and Shahrukh Khan inspire such obsession is this. When you're with them, you feel like the most important person in the room. Shahrukh Khan does this constantly. In interviews, he's quick to throw out genuine compliments, sometimes about an interviewer's question, sometimes about a co-star's performance. Even with his staff or strangers, he goes out of his way to show respect and his gratitude towards that person. A friend once told me about being with Shahrukh Khan at a party. He wanted to smoke, but before lighting up, he actually asked everyone at the table if they were okay with that. If one person had objected, he would have actually stepped outside to smoke instead of smoking right there with the people around him. That small gesture made everybody feel valued. Taylor does the same thing. Whether it's hugging a fan backstage, remembering a small detail somebody told her years ago, or making eye contact with every person in a room, she has a way of making people feel seen. And that is why her fans don't just admire her, they feel connected to her. There are multiple psychological principles at play here. First, there's the concept of people remembering how you made them feel. Both Taylor and Shahrukh Khan are great at making people feel seen and therefore valuable. And when they do this, people associate other positive qualities to them, creating this entire image in their heads that make them fall in love with them. Another reason why this works is because of the concept of selective attention. This is a subtle but potent power dynamic move. Shahrukh Khan is not performing for the room. He's granting you exclusive access to his attention. He is selective with his attention, and that again makes you feel important. This brings me to hack number 6, building intrigue through stories. Now, being likable is great, but if you only ever give away the spotlight, people won't truly feel connected to you because you're just giving it away. It's never on you. To fix this, you actually need to share stuff about yourself, but do it in a way that builds curiosity and connection and doesn't make people feel alienated. Again, Shahrukh Khan does this brilliantly. In interviews, instead of giving flat answers, he will always add a twist that hooks the audience.
So I asked Amiji, what is the last thought before you enter stage? What is in your head? What is in your heart? How do you feel? Because he's amazing on stage and everywhere. What is the last thing I do before I go on stage? I check my zippers.
He could have simply said ki the best advice Amitji gave me was to check my zippers before going on stage. But he turns the entire narrative into a story with a start, a context, and a retelling of the event. And then a twist at the end that generates some sort of emotion. In this case, it was laughter. He also, of course, has a few go-to stories from his life that he keeps coming back to, like the story of coming to Mumbai with just a suitcase and a dream, and how he promised himself he'd make the city bow its head one day. Every time he shares it, people get goosebumps and they're reminded of this part of Shahrukh Khan's life. The key here is this. When you tell a story that gets a great reaction, make a mental note of that. Reuse it with new people and also just practice telling your stories to build intrigue instead of having them fall flat. These little hooks and go-to stories make people feel like they know you, not just your surface level charm. And that is what makes connection unforgettable. Coming to hack number 7, don't just follow the energy, set it. Here, I want to use the example of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. In the highest pressure moments like a T20 World Cup final, the entire stadium would be a sea of panic. But on the field, MS Dhoni was captain cool. He was calm, he was composed, and almost emotionless. His energy never changed to match the chaos around him. Instead, the team and eventually the entire country watching would calm down and believe in this strategy. That is true charisma, and I have goosebumps talking about it. Psychology calls this emotional contagion. Emotions spread like a virus. Most people just catch the emotion of the room, but magnetic people set the emotion. They don't react to the energy, they create the energy. Here's how you do it. Imagine if a friend comes to you panicking. Your first instinct might be to panic with them. But instead, if you take a deep breath, if you center yourself, if you drop your voice and you calm them down instead and tell them it's okay, within seconds, they will start to mirror your calm. This is what makes people feel attached to you emotionally because you become their anchor in a world full of noise and chaos. And this finally brings me to hack number 8. Be a happy person. Nobody likes a person who is down and complaining and cribbing all of the time. Which is why one trait that you will often see in people who command obsession is that they radiate happiness. Shahrukh Khan looks like he's having fun, the time of his life wherever he goes. Whether he's dancing at a wedding, joking in an interview, or greeting fans, there's a genuine joy that shines through his interactions. It never feels like an act. Taylor Swift is the same. Watch her on tour. She isn't just performing. She is visibly delighted to be there. That happiness rubs off on the crowd. You can see this in films too. Just look at the contrast between Hrithik and Farhan in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, or that of Kalki and Katrina Kaif in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. Hrithik and Kalki are miserable, and as a result, for the majority of the film, both characters are unlikable. But Farhan and Katrina's characters are happy and full of life, and that rubs off on the audience. The psychology is simple. People want to be around those who uplift them. Happiness signals safety, warmth, genuine charm, and while arrogance can make you impressive, only happiness makes you magnetic. At the end of the day, people don't obsess over those who drain their energy, they obsess over those who light them up. So with that, here is a quick recap of all the 8 powerful traits that make people obsess over you. First is creating emotional intensity, where you make people feel instead of just connecting with them through logic. Number 2 is to own your awkwardness. Turn mistakes and moments of awkwardness into moments of connection by laughing at yourself and inviting others to laugh together. 3 is to use the power of contradiction. Stop putting yourself in boxes and break the boxes that people put you in by showing the contradictory sides of your personality. 4, use fake narcissism and exaggeration or hyperbole. Use humor and exaggeration to make your interactions unforgettable. 5, make people feel special. Give them selective and genuine attention and watch them come to you like a honeybee. 6, build intrigue through stories. Share personal moments that create curiosity. 7, don't follow the energy, set it. Become the emotional anchor for people in your life instead of being the one who just furthers the chaos. And 8, be a happy person. If you're genuinely happy, you radiate joy, and when you radiate joy, that energy is contagious. If you look closely at any of these 8 traits, you will notice that none of them require money or fame or talent. What they require is awareness, practice, and intention, and that is what you need to do. You need to intentionally practice these things till they become a part of your personality. And if you have made it this far into the video, you probably want to make a stronger impression on people and show up more confidently in your own life. I've made several other videos to help you with that, and you can check them out in this playlist right here. And I hope you not only enjoyed today's video but also learned something from it. If you did, drop a like and let me know in the comments which of these was the most surprising for you. And I'm going to see you guys very, very soon in the next one. Bye!